So now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about these 7 steps. They're going to help you create traction that you have not seen in your shop before. And the degree that you're going to experience is going to be your ability to follow these 7 steps. That's basically what they are. So the first step is clarity. What do I mean by that? You've got to be clear on where you want to go. That's the first step. You got to be clear on where you want to go. Second thing you got to be clear on is you got to be clear on why you want it, right? Because that's the rocket fuel. Your why is everything. Okay. So after you know where you want to go, you know why you want to get there. Now you got to know what happens if it stays the same. If nothing changes and you keep doing what you're doing, what does that end up like? And hopefully it's painful. Okay. So this is all part of the clarity. And then the fourth part you got to be clear about is the path. What are you going to start off with? Now, please understand that going down the path doesn't mean you have to stay on the path. You're going to find that some paths you start on, they don't make sense. Something doesn't work. You got to adjust. So, what I want you to do is stay firm on your destination and flexible on the path because that's part of it. So, first step, clarity. Second step, focus. We are an industry of ADHD, in my opinion. All right. I truly believe that's part of what makes great entrepreneurs. You know what I'm talking about, right? Squirrel. That's what your biggest fight is going to be is focus. You got to be able to remove the distractions. How do you do that? By keeping where you're going and why you're going there front and center. And then what do you have to do? If you keep those 3 things in front of you 3, 4 times a day, where like in the morning, you're writing down your goals. You're writing down where you want to go. You're writing down why it's important. And you're writing down what you're going to do that day that's going to move you forward. That's what you need. So these are a big deal. This is a big deal. So now you got to remove the distractions. That's the first thing after clarity, right? Here's where I'm going to go. Now I got to put the blinders on and make sure that I'm just focused on that. Third step is action. You've got to be able to take massive, consistent action. This means getting up and doing it every single day. Probably the single strongest advice I can give you with this step is to stop stopping. Don't start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. That's why it feels like 1 step forward, 2 step back, or 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's because you're not consistently moving forward. The cool thing when you combine clarity and focus and action, it's a powerful trio. Okay. And what it's going to help you do is create momentum. That is the magic our universe gives us, our creator gives us for having these 3 things. When we continue doing these things, now the reality is you could have a bunch of bad habits, you could have a bunch of bad things you're doing. You will create momentum for that as well. So you've got to make sure that you're using momentum as a tool to help you get to where you want to go. Number 4, discipline. Discipline is critical. Why? Because you're going to wake up some days and not want to do it. You're going to want to take a pass for today. But there's a couple of things that I want you to understand. Tomorrow is not your friend. Later is not your friend. Don't wait until you feel like doing something to do it, because what they've scientifically proven is that the actual feeling of, feeling good about doing it comes after you do it, not before. So you've got to get up and you got to show up every single day to be your best. Now, doesn't mean every day is going to be incrementally better. What it means is you are going to do your best. You're going to get up there and you are going to push. So that's discipline. So we've got clarity, focus, action, discipline. Now, after we take our action and we're disciplined about it, we've got to be able to step back and receive feedback. We're going to get that feedback in results. We're going to get that feedback in how we're doing things. Okay. Now, I never want you to measure your success by your results. You want to use the results as a ruler, but you want to measure your success based on your effort. Why do I say that? Because the effort is something you can control. Many, many times the results are not. Now, at the same time, you got to be patient, right? You start losing weight, you start going to the gym. What happens after the first time you go? Nothing happens. So you got to keep going and keep going and keep going. And before you know it, holy crap, it's amazing. This is the same thing. So you're going to get feedback. You got to allow yourself to be open to that feedback. Number 6, you got to adjust. You're going to get that feedback and you're going to get better. A lot of people are so into being efficient, being efficient, being efficient. Be effective first. Make sure you're being efficient on the best stuff, right? There's that old saying, practice makes what? Practice makes, most people are going to say perfect. And I'm going to say, no, practice makes permanent. You've got to be able to not go down this way. Okay. So here's the thing I want you to understand. We've got clarity. We've got focus. We've got action. We've got discipline. We've got feedback. Now we adjust, right? Now we get better. We get effective. Then guess what? Step 7, it's a natural byproduct. That's achieve. I got about a minute left. Clarity, number 1. Focus, number 2. Action, number 3. Discipline, number 4. 5 is feedback. 6 is adjust. 7 is achieve. Listen, please share this video. There is somebody out there struggling right now that needs to hear this. Please share it. Everybody have a great week. God bless. Have fun and go make some money. See y'all later. Bye-bye.